I've been. Dreams are seeds we plant, my friend. Dusty boots, but a heart of gold. Your story's waiting to be told. Your time is now, your stars align. Cowbell ring and feel the beat. Hustle hard, don't take a seat. Every step you're blazing trails. Invented journey never fails. Your time is now, your stars align. Inventive journey, here we go. Through highs and lows, we let it flow. Startups, rising small, but shine. Your time is now, your stars align. Your time is now, your stars align.
Hey everyone, this is Devin Miller here with another episode of The Inventive Journey. I'm your host, Devin Miller, the serial entrepreneur that's grown several startups and 7- and 8-figure businesses, as well as the founder and CEO of Miller IP Law, where he helps startups and small businesses with their patents and trademarks. You ever need help with yours, just go to strategymeeting.com, grab some time with us to chat, and we're always here to help. Now, today we've got another great guest on the podcast, Trapper Roderick. And Trapper started his journey in high school working for his dad for framing houses. His dad left on a trip and incentivized him that if he got the work done, he'd get a bonus, which he did do. And then most of his family was in the construction industry, and he got great training for the future business. Went off to college, took a different route than necessarily anticipated, and he'll share a bit more about that. And then went to get a custom suit, and they didn't have what he wanted, so he started a custom suit business and always wanted to get back into construction. So when COVID hit, he sold off the other business and then moved towards our construction business and starting his own thing there. So with that much as a short introduction, welcome on the podcast, Trapper.
Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Excited to have you here. So I just gave a quick overview to a much longer journey. So why don't we rewind and unpack that a little bit and tell us a little bit about how your journey got started working for your dad in high school framing houses.
Yeah. I was blessed, I mean, some people didn't think so. They're like, oh, Trapper's always at work, even though I was in high school. But the reality was I saw it as a blessing. I got to learn so much from my dad, my grandpa, because my parents were young. I had to go to work with them. So I got to learn all different aspects of life, how to talk to adults. And framing was really priceless for me because I got to be around homes and kind of saw what I liked about them, what I didn't like, which kind of inspired me to want to be an architect at one point. And I'll never forget the kind of the moment you talked about, which was my dad had to leave out of town, and he said, if you have this roof sheeted for me, by the time I get back, he set some ridiculous price tag on it. There was no way I was ever going to be able to do it. And I ended up calling all my friends and said, "Hey, look, I don't need you to cut any wood. I don't need you to do anything. I just need you to lift me the wood up onto the roof." And when he got back, he had to honor obviously what he said he would do for me. And from that day on, I was hooked on the idea of I was never going to work for really anybody. I knew I was always going to be um, in business for myself because I could really leverage myself, my talents, and other people to kind of make money.
No, it sounds like it was a good start and a good opportunity to throughout high school to get some real world experience, probably put a little bit of money in your pocket and
Yeah.
set you up for a future course or a future path. Now, after you were going through high school, I believe you went off to college and you maybe touched on a little bit, but you were going to head in a different direction or kind of had different plans. So, kind of fill us in. Where'd you go to college? What did you study? Kind of what was the path from there?
Yeah, for sure. I went to the University of Utah. I didn't really realize I was going to go there until I was all of a sudden just going there. I was accepted. I thought I was going to go on an LDS mission and go to school in Hawaii and all this other stuff, but ended up going to the University of Utah. Joined a fraternity, which was, I didn't know I was a legacy at the time, but I was. And so that was a huge blessing for me as well, just like learning about my family history and all these networking groups and kind of got into the entrepreneurship world. There was so much opportunity at the University of Utah at the time. They were starting this program called the Lassonde Institute, which was essentially a live workspace for entrepreneurs. It was really kind of cool and one of like the first of its kind in the United States. And I kind of got to be like the poster child for it for a while. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do in business at the time. I always just knew I was going to be a general contractor and design homes and build homes, but I was like, I got to seize this moment. And so I was looking for a custom suit one day, went to several different shops, and the guys wouldn't make what I wanted them to make, and it was so frustrating, right? Like it was a little flamboyant. Well, look, well, I'm not going to argue that, but they're like, "Ah, you don't want a suit that way," and so I was just like so fed up. I was like, "Man, suits are so boring. It's all these bankers or doctors, and they're just so generic, and they're gray, black, and
Or
blue." And
attorneys, you're welcome to insult attorneys as well.
that's
There's
probably the more smart one. Yeah, which is for sure boring. Yeah, attorneys,
absolutely.
and judges, which made great clients in the future. But and so I just saw an opportunity, and so I started marketing like custom suits before I even really knew what I was doing. And so I called every person I knew that had ever served a mission overseas for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I called people that were doing business overseas, and so I tried manufacturing in all these different countries, and um, and we really dialed it in. It was great. That journey was an amazing process, and that factory's still up and running. A friend's company of mine still runs it, and it's an awesome little gig. But we really marketed to everybody. Our hashtag was like real men wear suits, and well, what's a real man? Well, a real man's everybody, right? But a real man's a guy who goes to work every day, who shows up for his family, who's respectful. So like it's all these like generalizations, right? And so. We had pictures of a butcher, wearing a suit. We had pictures of people surfing in suits, wakeboarding in suits, snow skiing in suits, doing aerials in suits, right? Because like a suit is for everybody, but it's to also express your own character, which was so fun. And it kind of caught on like wildfire. We grew social media super fast. And yeah, that was the beginning of like me running and owning my own business and had plenty of successes and plenty of mistakes. And it was a blast. I'm super glad I got to do it.
Now, just maybe one follow-up to that, because there are plenty of times when you go in and hey, something isn't exactly what you want. You say, well, may not be what I want. Oh well, I'll move on and I'll continue on with life. So kind of how did you take the leap from I'm looking from a suit to I'm gonna spin up a factory and go in that direction?
Yeah. So kind of I mentioned the mission thing for a while, and that's really probably the biggest factor in it is I had friends that had come home from LDS missions and they had custom suits made, and I was like, man, like I want something like that, but I want to take it like a step further. But I could see that they were customizing it, and so that's really what kind of gave me the idea of like, well, I should be able to do it whatever I want as long as I'm willing to pay for it, right? And wear it your way, and just style it to meet what every individual person's needs are, right? Because we all have different body shapes, different sizes, and they hang different on us, and we all like a different style as well. So that's really kind of what was the spark of that is I saw it was possible. And so why were these people that were selling 2, 3, 5, 10 $1,000 suits not doing that. And so I kind of saw the opportunity, and the University of Utah, like they put me on blast. I mean, I was in magazines. I mean, I was in news publications. I was meeting with the football teams and basketball teams, which then led to NFL teams and NBA teams. And it was awesome. I got to travel all over the United States. And if it wasn't really for some, very specific clients of mine that were very giving. There was a one client, well, two clients in particular, um, and they wrote handwritten letters and they said, "Hey, here's the 12 most influential people in the state of Utah. We're buying them suits as gifts, right?" And
Mm.
that was just such an amazing experience. I got to meet with so many cool people, and they're still great clients today. And I don't really do suits anymore, but like there's a short list of people. If they call, I'm like, okay, I'll help you out any day,
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. Now, Paul, how long were you in that business, or how long did you build and grow that?
Yeah, I think it was 8.5 years total. And then I ended up selling the client list to the people that run that factory still today. And so
And you kind of hit on that was going to be a follow-up question. So 8.5 years, good long time. Sounds like it
yeah,
was success. You found kind of the niche
yeah.
or the ability to grow and to customize it and tailor to the audience. Now, what kind of prompted you to shift gears away from the suit business and go back into construction?
Yeah, I mean, I always knew I was going to be in construction. Like I was born for it, really. I mean, my mom's family's company was one of the largest commercial contracting companies on the West Coast, and for sure one of the biggest in the state of Utah. And they were employee owned and ESOP at this point, but I saw what like a giant conglomerate they had built. So and I was always in the wood shop with my grandpa, and I was always on job sites with my dad. My dad was still building, and at this point, he was building in Los Angeles, and he was building these, mega mansions for, I mean, you name the celebrity, and he was probably involved in building their homes or athletes, and it was super, super neat. So I got to experience architecture and design from this scale that most people don't even ever get to experience, which really drew in a passion for like the design and the art and the business and all aspects of that. And so um, I just knew I was going to end up in it, and I never really saw when I was going to, I almost felt trapped in the suits. I loved the suits, but I was like, when am I going to make this transition? And then COVID came, and it was like, okay, let's do this. Like, let's go. Um, probably not the smartest decision, but it was good for me. I mean, most people would
So
like, oh,
you waited until the worst time when everybody's shut in, businesses are shutting down, and there isn't a lot of
yeah,
activity going on to say,
exactly.
that's the time I'm going to start my business. No.
Exactly. But it was great for me because I mean, I couldn't meet and measure people anymore, but you could do construction. People had to have construction still happening. And so it was actually like this really nice harmony in an interesting way.
No, and I say it in jest now. It makes
Yeah.
sense. And I think that's actually when you had COVID hit, you had a lot of people that kind of took a step back, repositioned, and kind of or kind of took the opportunity to maybe course correct or go in a different path, which is kind of where it sounds like you ended up. So you go down that direction, say, okay, I'm going to sell off the business. I'm going to start the construction now. Again, would have had a number of ways you could have gone back and worked for your dad or taken over the family business or become a partner or start your own thing. So kind of with that, how did you decide kind of where you were going to go or what you're going to do or how you're going to position that business?
Yeah. So the previous like 3 years, I'd been buying um homes with a good friend of mine, and we were, flipping them or living in them, and it was working out pretty nice. And so at that time, he was pretty close to being fed up with working for a giant financial company that we would all know. And it was just like kind of a perfect situation as well. Like I was like, hey, let's do this. Like let's all I'm already a qualifier. Let's get our contractor's license and let's go do it. And so picked up some small remodel jobs, and that worked out, pretty flawlessly. And the history as well of what I had just grown up doing, and friends who already were always asking for help, but now they could actually legally hire me to do it. It just worked out really nicely. And pretty quickly, we picked up a bunch of work. We picked up, I don't know, 15 remodels, and then all of a sudden, this other guy wanted us to do a bunch of modular stuff for him. So we're building all these homes in a factory. We even built like 400 plus modular saunas, and then then pretty quickly got into just, custom homes, because that was always the goal, and that was always, what I grew up doing. And so I branded my company the same as my father's, really to kind of, I was already helping him. I was project managing or doing some financial stuff here and there. Never really quit doing that. Just whenever he needed me to help fill in. So it was like, why do double the work? Might as well essentially merge the companies without them legally being bound to each other, right? And so,
Hmm.
yeah, so we have a California entity and we've got a Utah entity, and we help each other in different ways. And that's really how it operates still today. My dad's actually in Utah right now. He's helping us on some jobs where he's got a break in between some out in California, and it's worked the opposite before, where he's needs some extra hands on the ground, and so we'll help out, or we'll manage more of like the stuff that he didn't grow up doing, right? Because just times have changed, softwares and processes. They're just different. Somebody used to go to work when they were building homes and they were on site every day. And we've kind of carried that principle forward. But yeah, so it's been really cool. Just like everything just kept lining up.
No, that makes perfect sense. Now, maybe a follow-up to that says, I mean, it said things lined up, so it's probably a self-evident answer. One of the things I was going to follow up on is a lot of times, people get into it and they'll dive into what they dreamed about or always wanted to do. And sometimes you'll get into this, man, I made a mistake. I wish I could go back. I want to go back to the suit business, or I want to go do other
Yeah,
things. And other times you'll say, no, I love this. And I wish I'd done this earlier. I wish I made the leap earlier. And, it's what I love and enjoy. So kind of as you've now been doing this, COVID, I would assume around 2020, 2021, really jumped into this, been doing it 4 or 5 years. Is
yeah.
something that you still enjoy? It was a good decision, have the passion for, or you wish you could go back in time and go down a different path?
Yeah, all of the above, for sure. Running your own business is hard, right? Especially if you have heart and you care. I think you and many of the listeners would agree. There's days where you just wish you were someone's employee, because you could turn those worries off when you go home. And being a contractor, I think is tough. My Instagram post today is going to actually be about that, because all too often we're carrying the burdens of our clients who are making the largest investment of their entire life building some, over the top home. And then our subcontractors who all have families as well, and our employees, and we're taking that burden home with us often. How do we turn that off? And so, yeah, sometimes I wish I wasn't, right? There's no denying that. And my dad growing up, he's like, don't be a contractor. I'm like, Dad, I'm gonna be a contractor. Don't be a contractor. Do any trade. You will make more money doing a trade than just being a general. And I never believed him, but he's right, you would. But I just have too much love and passion for what I do. So yeah, I'm glad I do. But yeah, there's for sure days where I'm like, man, it's hard. It is. Some days we got tons of debt, and then next day we don't. Because we specialize in spec homes, and so um, we have to wait for homes to sell. We always look for a good investment partner, but that's growing slowly versus enormously fast. But we have good returns on our spec homes, but it takes 2 years for a return.
No, that definitely, and it is one where you get into that. And, I think I hate their quote. And I was on I think it was a Facebook or LinkedIn or somewhere grew, and somebody's like, what is one of the quotes that is, wrong or that is incorrect in that. And mine was, is that, if you find what you love, you'll never work in a day in your life. And I'm like, that's just not true. It's like, you'll still work. There'll still be hard times. There'll still be things that you don't enjoy that aren't, the things that you want to do that you still have to do with the business. And there'll be ups and downs, and you can enjoy it and want or love doing the business, but it's not all just, roses and easy going and all enjoyment. There's still a lot of hard things, which is it kind of sounds like reflects with a lot of your experience as well. But now to follow up that, because we've kind of caught up to a bit of the present day and where you're at and what you're continuing doing. But if you're to look out kind of over the next 6 to 12 months and looking at kind of where things are headed, kind of what's next in store for you, or kind of where things headed next for you.
Yeah, great question. I've been doing a lot of work with other contractors, other people that do what I do. We There's a group of us. It's called the Contractors Coalition, and we're not alone. There's plenty of groups like it, but it's a big passion of mine to help other contractors realize where they're undervaluing themselves and where they need to do better. I think the industry as a whole is kind of frowned upon, like they are seen as like dishonest people, or that they're super wealthy or flaky. I mean, all these, all the above, right? So we get together, we share each other's contracts, we share things that are working. It's a big push for me to grow social media and my presence. Like, we are a leader in my market, but still there's plenty of people that either look at what we've done and they go, oh, they're too expensive, right? Like, stay away from them. Like, they do only really nice houses. No, like, yeah, we do, but like, we'll build you a $3 million home too, or $1 million home. We just aren't going to showcase our best stuff most of the time, you know? So how can we help other contractors and teach them good processes, and how can we grow our own social media presence? Because building a custom home is built on trust. It's really not, built on some price or any of the above. Like, if someone trusts you, then you're the guy, right?
Hmm.
And then how can we educate our clients so they're making smart decisions? Because all too often somebody goes into, they buy this awesome lot, they start designing this home, and then they've designed a home they can't afford. And that's so sad because um, then their quality of their construction goes down because they hire somebody that's likely based on price versus quality. So how
Hmm.
can we uplift the industry and teach our clients and other subcontractors and other contractors about all of that combined? And then at the same time, the other big push is, growing an investment pool of people who understand what it takes to do luxury custom spec homes, like, so homes that are custom, truly nice homes that have thought of everything, that are wellness package related, and understand what those returns can bring, because oftentimes they're a lot better than rental properties or even multifamily, and you can do them a lot more often, right? And so that's
Hmm.
another big push for us, is getting a good core group of them, of individuals for those investments. So we essentially, by the end of like 2027, maybe mid 2028, we'll be 50-50 versus right now where we're like 75% custom home and 25% homes for sale. So that way we can be about 50-50. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like definitely plenty to go on, lots of good opportunities and a good direction to be headed. So it'll be exciting to see how things continue to play out for you. So, well, now as we have reached the present day of the journey and even looking a bit to the futures to where things are headed, great time to transition to the couple questions I always like to work or ask towards the end of each episode. So we'll jump to those now. So the first question I'd like to ask is, along your journey, what was the worst business decision you ever made? What'd you learn from it?
Man, there's a lot of those. I would say the one that comes to mind that I preach often to a lot of people is, don't wait to because this was like very apparent in both, well, my businesses. Don't wait to bring in like in-house financial counsel, right? Whether that be an office manager, CPA, I mean, whatever that person looks like, but someone who's dedicated to your books and your numbers every single day. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, don't be afraid to do that, because you've got to focus on what your best life, and that's fine if that's your best part, right? But everything else is revolved around that. And so it's just so sad how many people work so hard and they don't know their numbers, and then they work and work and work till retirement, and then they are so old and frail they can't even enjoy their retirement. And so if you don't really bring that person in, like, you're never going to really know where you're at, and especially in contracting. I mean, contracting is so scary how many people don't know what money is actually theirs. So that's probably the biggest mistake. And it's not like some nasty, scary story, but it can lead to nasty, scary stories. I've got plenty of, stories that would shock and scare people, but that's the one that sticks out the most across the board.
No, that makes sense. And it's kind of one I'm right there with. There are plenty of things I love and enjoy, and sometimes even things I've handed off that I end up taking back because I'm like, hey, I could have other people do it, but I really just enjoy it and I want to do it. And there are other things
Yeah.
like taxes and managing some of the finance. I'm like, you know what? just because I can do it. I hate doing it. I don't want to do it. It's not what I'm passionate about, and I really don't add that much value. And handing that off is one where it always makes sense, and it's oftentimes one where you sometimes will hold on to it too long. So definitely an easy place to make a mistake, but a great one to learn from. Second question now that I'd like to ask. Now, if you're talking to somebody that's just getting into a startup or a small business, what would be the one rule of thumb you'd recommend?
I would definitely push on the what we just talked about, which I have. And then don't be afraid to pivot. And so many people they're so stuck on like this is my business model or this was the plan, and the plan doesn't ever go as the plan. You're gonna learn what the plan is like as you are going on. Like you're gonna run into problems, and you have to be able to make pivotal decisions very fast and be willing to change directions because one day you might like I thought I was going to be a spec home builder, right? Well, clearly spec homes like unless I have $20 million in the bank, I can't do that every day. I have to build custom homes, right? So like, and maybe you think as a contractor you're going to be a cost plus contractor. Well, there's some advantages to being fixed price. Like you have to be nimble and be willing to change and adapt because um it might be something that gives you an edge. It might be something that you're better at, and it just isn't. You can't always follow the plan, but you have to be willing to change your plan and then move forward. So, um, I say, try things fast, change things fast, but don't wait so long and be so stuck in your way that it ends up taking you down a really bad path.
No, I think that's definitely a great rule of thumb and a great takeaway. So, well, now as we are wrapping up towards the end of the episode, if people want to reach out to you, they want to be a customer, they want to be a client, they want to be an employee, they want to be an investor, they want to be your next best friend, any or all of the above, what's the best way to reach out to you, contact you, find out more?
Yeah, I appreciate that, by the way. Thanks. You can definitely follow us on social media. That's at Roderick Builders. Our website's www.roderickbuilders.com. And you can pretty much find me pretty fast if you go to those websites. I don't hide behind some, paywall or anything like that. I'm an open book. I like helping people. So follow us and reach out and be critical. And I mean, yeah, I want to be the best I can be. So if you see something that you're just laughing your head off at, please be critical with me. I want to be the best I can.
Awesome. Well, I definitely encourage people to reach out, support a great business, expand their network, and if nothing else, make a new best friend. So, with that, thank you again, Trapper, for coming on the podcast. It's been a fun, it's been a pleasure. Now, for all of you, the listeners are out there, if you have your own journey to share and you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, we'd love to have you. So, just go to inventiveunicorn.com, apply to be on the show. Couple more things as listeners, make sure to click share, subscribe, leave us a review, helps us reach even more startups and small businesses to help them along their journey to success. And along that note, if along your journey you ever need help with patents or trademarks or anything else with your startup or your small business, just go to strategymeeting.com, grab some time with us to chat, and we're always here to help. Well, thank you again, Trapper, for coming on the podcast, and wish the next leg of your journey even better than the last.
Thank you very much and look forward to talking soon.
The road ain't straight, it's got a bend. Dreams are seeds we plant, my friend. Dusty boots, but a heart of gold. Your story's waiting to be told. Inventive journey, here we go. Through highs and lows, we let it flow. The startups rise and small be shine. Your time is now, your stars align. Cowbell ring and feel the beat. Hustle hard, don't take a seat. Every step you're blazing trail. Inventive journey never fails. Inventive journey, here we go. Through highs and lows, we let it flow. Startups rise and small but shine. Your time is now, your stars